How about another popular play in the contest tonight? Broncos plus 6.5 at Buccaneers. Ravens -1 at Cowboys. And Chris Zanuck on Twitter at Las Vegas Chris. Best bet, Falcons +3 versus KC on Sunday night. That's a good-looking card as well for Chris Zanuck this week. All right, let's go Paul Bovey. He's looking for a bounce back. Your Las Vegas Pro Better. And Bovey, I know, very disappointed in his performance a week ago, and how could you not be when you go 0-7? But he had some tough breaks in that 0-7 and a couple of, I'll say, bad beats or narrow losses there. Bovey's got top 20 finishes in the Circa Million and Westgate Super Contest in the past. Follow him at Paul Bovey, and we'll see if this is his bounce-back week. Commanders Bengals over 47 on Monday night. We're going to go Dolphins plus 4.5 at Seattle. Titans -2.5 against the Packers. Have you heard this before? Broncos plus 6.5. How about Saints -3? Got a difference of opinion in the contest in that game. Seems to be split down the middle. Bears pick 'em against the Colts. And the best bet for Paul Bovey, Ravens -1 at Cowboys. I'm rooting for Paul this week because I've got some similar plays with him. All right, Ravens best bet for Paul Bovey. We've got Vinny Castillo and Sean Higgs coming up here to wrap up the show. And Vinny Castillo, a pro bettor, former pro golfer, and he's a former winner of a Westgate Super Contest mini contest in 2020. And Vinny is not on social media, which is good right now because he'd be catching a lot of heat for being 3-11 here through 2 weeks. And again, Vinny continues his trend of not playing an underdog. So this will be 21 plays for Vinny in this contest and 0 dogs. Vinny has got Lions -3, Connecticut -1, Lions Cardinals over 51.5, Seahawks -4.5, Buccaneers -6.5, Chiefs -3, and the best bet for Vinny Castillo, Bengals -7.5 against the Commanders on Monday night. And I think there's a good chance that's going to be the number one consensus Circa Survivor play. Let's get to Sean Higgs, pro handicapper and radio host out of Texas. And Higgs also looking for a bounce back here, 3-11, right there with Vinny at the bottom of the standings, but a long way to go, plenty of time to dig out of the hole. Sean Higgs, LSU -21. How about Vikings +2, Lions Cardinals over 51.5, Panthers +6. He's riding the red rifle this week in Las Vegas. Rams +6.5. Giants Browns under 38.5. And Sean Higgs best bet, Dolphins +4.5 at Seattle. All right, that wraps it up. Stay tuned here for the Sports Gambling Podcast and plenty of great shows all weekend on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Take your betting action to the next level by playing the ponies on First Bet. First Bet is U.S.-based and offers wagering on hundreds of races every day from across the country and around the world. From Santa Anita and Gulfstream to the Kentucky Derby and Preakness, First Bet has you covered. Head over to firstbet.com. That's the number 1 stbet.com to get started. And enter promo code VSiN200 to claim a special sign-up bonus. That's firstbet.com, the number 1 stbet.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
A new football season means a new line.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway Club Fitting Center, and an Odyssey Fitting Studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112.
You're listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Ina's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
Discount Power Sports at 778 North Main Street in Hubbard is hosting a raffle for a 125cc Pentora ATV. Tickets are $30 each, and 100 tickets are available. For each raffle, when those 100 are gone, a winner will be drawn and a new raffle will begin. Tickets can be purchased at any Hubbard home game or at 778 North Main Street or by calling 330-717-44441. $1,500 from each raffle will go toward a scholarship for the Hubbard Youth Coalition. It's time to kick back and listen to the sports page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. 330-707-4202. Dave Clark, a lot to get to. Sometimes can't, I don't even know where to start today with college football. We've got some high school football scores, and obviously the NFL is really getting interesting, and it's early in the NFL season, and I don't want to start getting crazy with, this is the end of the world. Baltimore Ravens, Dallas Cowboys 1-1, Baltimore Ravens 0-2. A lot of other teams that are 1-1, 0-2. Are the New Orleans Saints for real, Dave Clark, or are they just kind of a flash in the pan?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if they're flash in the pan because we talked about the picking our divisions. One thing I said about the Saints, I know they got, if anything, is defense. So I think that's who they are on defense. The thing that surprised us is the offense. Now, if that offense can stay like that, they attack early. And if they stay with that kind of concept and can stay in front of people, they'll be a problem. That's the thing. They get up on you, and then you have to try to penetrate that defense. And that's how they play the game. So right now, I would say they're not, but it's still early. We don't know what's going to happen. They might have a bad game this week, but that's how I look at it. Seems to be flat. Sometimes they just don't play well. But from right now, execution-wise, they're good. And one of the things is Derek Carr is making quick reads. He gets the ball out of his hands so fast. It's pathetic. So now the receivers are dangerous because they're fast. They always had good, decent receivers. They had a lot of possession guys. Now you got Olave, but then you got Shaheed, his speed is off the charts. And then you got guys underneath. You got Tyson Hill, who's your what they say all-duty tool because he does everything. He just does everything. Tight end, running back, blocking, fullback. It doesn't matter. And they could do all those things. And then Alvin Kamara looks fresh and looks good. That offense is hard to shut down. So Philly has their issues to have to do that, to try to shut that down because they're going to attack early. And they put you behind the 8 ball right off the top.
Well, speaking of Philadelphia, just before we get into the pro, a couple scores last night. Illinois beat Nebraska in a very hard-fought, well-played game, 31-24. And then Syracuse lost to Stanford 26-24 as Stanford kicked the field goal with no time left on the clock. So Syracuse, Kyle McCord, the Syracuse quarterback, ex-Ohio State, played pretty good, but I believe he did throw a pick 6. I have to look it up.
Yeah.
Syracuse, though, looks a lot better than they did last year, but with a brand new coach.
Yep.
So if you're a Syracuse fan, at least you're seeing things look, but it's a tough loss last night.
Yeah, it's tough. But Stanford is a team, I don't know, we've been watching for years, late night. These teams go and play them. I remember many times USC have went to play them, and you'll mark on your calendar W. They got this game, and you'll wake up and find out Stanford beat USC, or they may have played Oregon. They have beat them. There's something about that Stanford team. They usually just be middle of the road record-wise, but ability-wise, it's a lot higher than that. They can come in and take care of business at times.
And, bottom line is Stanford was able to get that win last night, a big win.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that they go to 2-1, and Syracuse is now 2-1. That was their first loss.
Mm-hmm.
So as their team goes, It's at least I like Syracuse. I think they're going to be a pretty decent team. They need to be a good team for college football for upstate New York, but they're kind of the other team. Really, teams, if you talk about New York football, college, you really have Notre Dame because that's their team.
Yeah.
And then Syracuse is like the other team in New York.
Right.
And then after that, there is no. And then the football just kind of is football. It's not like Ohio doesn't have kind of the cachet or, just doesn't carry the, interest that it does. Like you get in Ohio, that's Ohio's sport is football.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you get to Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan and all those areas, that's the football area.
Right.
And it's just loaded. New York is predominantly basketball.
It's basketball. Like Indiana. Indiana is high school basketball.
Yeah.
Like people go to games in Indiana. They go to like 10,000 people will go to an Indiana basketball game.
Yeah.
High school game.
Yeah, I know.
Very popular.
Yep.
New York is same kind of way. Mm-hmm. Basketball is the sport.
Yep.
Football is, kind of secondary to basketball in New York. But then Ohio, like you say, Michigan, Ohio, even, Pennsylvania is a football.
Yeah.
High school football.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's just been it. New York City from young, I just remember it used to be basketball, baseball, then football. Because, that was the most popular things up there. You might, and hockey would even challenge at times because a lot of people love it, especially upstate. They love it. They a lot of hockey.
You're close to Canada, Buffalo. You have that area in New York, upstate New York. You're not very far from Canada, and you have a lot of like hockey. Buffalo Sabre hockey is really big in Buffalo as well. Though the only thing I would say in Buffalo, football is it.
Yeah, they still. Well, that's NFL.
That's NFL.
Yeah, that's just NFL. That's all you can
basically,
say.
Sundays are
it's football, man.
Football, Buffalo Bill football in upstate New York, and it goes even over to Rochester, Syracuse. A lot of Buffalo Bill fans and New York Giant fans up there, and Jets, but mainly Buffalo Bills. And speaking of Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, I know we're kind of opening up doors and walking into one room and leaving the other door open, but that's what we do. Speaking of the New York Jets, big win on Thursday night. There's promise and hope now. Aaron Rodgers kind of looked like the old Aaron Rodgers as far as moving around, and he just throws the ball anywhere he needs to throw it. He makes great passes.
Yeah,
he is he's still one of the best quarterbacks. Top 2, top 3. I
know people like to say things about him, but that has always been one of my favorite quarterbacks. And I know Stephen A. Smith always talks about Aaron Rodgers, but he's right, though. He always will say, I don't care. When it comes to a guy making a throw in tight windows, that's one of the guys you want to have. And the thing about it, his first game, you could see that he's like, I can't say that his Achilles was bothering him, but I do believe he was tentative because they don't know. First game. And you can see that against it, even though he's making some good throws. But you seen Thursday night, he looked like the old guy rolling out, the rush coming at him after him. He's got mobility to get away from him and throw the ball. And if they can have that, they could be a major problem because these guys, you got the running game with Breece Hall and great draft pick and getting Braylon Allen. That 20-year-old guy is a man-child, big as he is. And you just do that and you got the receivers. The offensive line is better because that used to be that offensive line was horrible back. It's a lot better than it was a few years back.
They've
improved that.
Improved it.
They still got to work on it, but it has improved.
Touchdown pass. It was the short touchdown pass that Rodgers threw to Garrett Wilson, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a lot of the sports talk yesterday. And the consensus is there aren't a lot of NFL quarterbacks that could make that throw where he threw it.
Yeah.
He had to basically put it the eye through the needle, sort of to speak, but he threw it. And I was just couldn't believe. He goes, yeah, most NFL quarterbacks can't make that throw. Aaron Rodgers can.
Yeah.
And it goes to just show you that Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. The defense played, the Jet defense played well. They really, New England could just never, I know their offensive line has got issues, obviously. Jacoby Brissett was just getting absolutely mugged.
Yeah.
I don't know how to coin it. He was just getting rushed, beat up, mugged, and they were just never in sync at all the entire game. New England Patriots offense could just never get going. They're limited on what they're going to be able to do. They have to get a good running game going. That sets up their pass.
Yep.
They don't have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, but they need to be able to run the ball, and then that way they can control the clock, and they could not do that at all against the Jets on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then the Jets obviously, it was interesting watching the game because you could see the Jets really, had that sense of urgency when they played because they really wanted that game, and they came out, and it was they dominated the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Rodgers, again, just playing an unbelievable great game and moving and throwing the ball, hitting everybody in stride. Just an unbelievable performance by Rodgers.
Well, I think the main thing is what you just said. It really, to me, it was just the line, because when I look at New England, I used to say the same thing. They don't have any offensive talent. Then I looked at Mario Douglas, Jalen Polk, I think who's the tight end? Hunter Henry?
Yeah, Hunter Henry.
And I looked at their skill position. I said, so these guys can play. They can get open. But it doesn't matter about them getting open when the quarterback has nowhere to throw the foot. I mean, he can't even look and see because these guys were getting this bum rush. And then their run blocking is suspect. Yeah. So when they do have a good day blocking the run, Stevenson is a battering ram who will pick up big yards. He has good games when they block well. They're not great pass blockers, but when they do get the running game going, they're a lot more dangerous because if they can run it, then that's when Brissett, who does not turn the ball over much, he doesn't have a lot of pressure. Even if he does have a little bit, he's able to find guys and get them. But they didn't have the offensive line play was horrible. And that really was the whole ball game there. You didn't have no line play, man. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do without that. And they couldn't do nothing against the Jets, really.
No, they
couldn't get him going. Stevenson, I seen a couple good runs, but man, he was getting banged up because he get the ball and he was getting hit. He was getting hit big time. So, it's concerning, but we get that on Thursday. I hate that. We do get those on Thursday night sometimes, guys. They seem almost flat a little bit. One team. Sometimes we done seen two teams, but lately I got to give it, more props than maybe 2 years ago. Remember those Thursday night games? Those are the things, if you could not sleep, watch a Thursday night game a couple years ago. It'll put you to sleep. Yeah. But these games have been better. But the Jets showed Thursday night, if they play that way, they're going to be a problem for many teams. As long as Rodgers can
gets the protection and can move and make the throws like he did, and the receivers were getting open. Yeah. But Rodgers, the receivers don't have to necessarily get open.
Yeah,
because he can throw the ball perfectly where he needs to put it, and he did.
And I thought Lazard, when I thought about Lazard, not that and he's not old at all, but I just thought the injuries, different things that he was done. No. Great compliment to Garrett Wilson. They got other guys too. They come in, they help him. And, Conklin, who was mainly a blocker in Minnesota, uses him more as a catching tight end who can catch the ball. And then Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, they both can run and throw, catch. So he's got all this thing, weaponry around him. And as that offensive line continue to get continuity, and confidence, that could be a major problem.
Yeah, that's going to be the key right there.
Yep.
Is
stay healthy. Forgot about that.
Speaking of quarterback play, I know there's been a lot of criticism of poor quarterback play. Some of it, I would say a lot of it, is offensive line.
Yeah.
More, and then
the quarterback itself.
It ties in.
Yeah.
Quarterback plays, like, I know, talked about Caleb Williams. I watched that game Sunday night, and I know Caleb Williams is struggling, but that offensive line, I mean, Caleb Williams is not going to, I believe me, I never wish someone to get hurt. I'm just saying that if they continue, that offensive line plays like that, Caleb Williams is not going to make the season. He's not getting 17 games in if that offensive line doesn't protect him, because he's just not, I hate to say it, but he's going to get hurt, because that offensive line, especially that Sunday night game, I saw him take some shots, and I couldn't believe he got up.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I noticed even at USC, well, I won't even say Oklahoma when he's a freshman. The guy is you don't want to take shots, but he is a tough guy.
Right.
But they got to do better, because NFL football is usually 2 reads, but usually 3 reads and then an option route. He gets to probably to the second read and he's already having to move and run.
Moving around.
And yes, he can make the throws on the run. He's good at that, but his is not just rolling out or let me get away. His is under duress, and it's different getting chased by NFL players on a consistent basis. You might, than college, because it could be a guy with great speed coming after you in college. Maybe the other couple that's coming after you, mediocre, but not in the NFL. Everybody can run, and they're coming, and you're not going to get away from them as quickly. So, I just, you worry about that as far as guys like him, because you don't want to ruin them. So you got to get your line play together. And I really think you could change things with the offensive play calling a little bit. Quit having him, maybe have him throw on first downs and start trying to establish something with DeAndre Swift. You got him there. Then why aren't you running him? You don't even run him a lot. And then you run him when you know you're going to run, he gets nothing. So we're going to see, this week's going to tell me something about not the Chicago Bears, but the offensive coordinator and everything, because one of the worst run defenses in the NFL right now is the Indianapolis Colts, and that's who they play. They're one of the worst run defenses. That's like a Sith. It's just run the daylight. That's what you do against them. If they don't have line play and they can't run swift against the Colts, there's some major problems on that offensive line. They should be able to run the ball against them, because they got mauled. Their offensive line got mauled against the Texans. The Texans just mauled them.
I saw a couple, like I said, Caleb Williams dropped back to pass. He didn't even get back to pass. He got that one hit where he had the 2 linemen sandwich him.
Yeah.
I didn't think he's getting up. They're just big guys. You're talking 300 pound. Again, Caleb Williams doesn't have the big body. You said the lower body, but the upper body is
got a great structure, lower body.
But he's not a real big guy. And I just saw a couple hits again, and I thought, he's not making the season. They got to do something. They have to make some kind of an adjustment with the line or with the play call. Or
you got to protect him.
You've got to protect him, because speaking of quarterbacks, Bryce Young, the Panther quarterback, now they benched him.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did him a favor. And I think that's a good thing, because I personally think that team, that organization is a dumpster fire. Look at last year. You bring in Frank Reich. You're supposed to develop Bryce Young as your guy. You make him the number one. You give the farm away to get the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally give everything away in a kitchen sink in a trade to move up and get him. Then you bring in Frank Reich, who's going to help him. Then you fire Frank Reich in the middle of the season. And then all of a sudden now it's obviously now disarray, new coaches, new systems. Then at the end of the season, you fire everybody and bring in, now this Canales is supposed to, quote, be the quarterback whisperer.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks, he puts poor Bryce Young on the bench. But the reality is with Bryce Young is, I know they said a lot of people were watching the game. He's missing open. He's, got all these bad habits.
Mm.
Look at all the turnover on the team.
Yeah.
And he's only his second year. You've just put this kid in an unbearable situation at all. And now, of course, he can't play. It's like a golfer that can't, is starting to think, where's my golf club at the top of my backswing? He's so probably mentally destroyed at this point in time.
Yeah.
I'm afraid he needs to go to another team and get a whole new, a new organization, a new team, sit on the bench, learn behind a veteran, and maybe this kid, you can salvage this player. But if he stays in Carolina with that organization, I just don't think it's going to work out very well for him. He's on the bench. Andy Dalton's not going to win many games for them. The team's not that good. Maybe Dalton could spark them.
Yeah. I think and then he'll be able to make some decisions that maybe right now Bryce Young is unable to make.
Right.
So that's going to help. But I'm telling you, you got bad line play.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. And then you can't say, okay, let me get rid of all my linemen and get new ones. So what do? You got to change your play call. Quit throwing on 3rd and 8. We know you're throwing and we're coming. 2nd and 10, throw the ball first down. Screens, all kind of things to start slowing that pass rush to make them think about other things. They run the ball right up through the tackles areas. Now these guys just pin their ears back and they coming. Yeah. And they say, well, hey, he's short. Well, I got news for you. It's a guy named Kyler Murray. I think he's shorter than Young. But he can get out of there. He knows he knows how to throw in windows, just like Russell Wilson did in his younger days. Just knows how to throw in the windows. Those are all things Bryce Young can learn also. And he did it at Alabama. He was always a short quarterback. He did it, and there was a big lineman in Alabama. He made the throws. So all of a sudden, he doesn't know how to play quarterback? No, he knows how to play. This is the NFL. He's not getting protection. The game is a lot faster. And when it's that fast and you're a young guy, you can't get up to snuff to NFL level. There's no way.
Well, it's the organization and the turnover.
Yeah, well, you
can't continually.
I don't know what went on. I don't know what Pepper went on with Tepper.
Tepper.
What went on with Tepper as far as Frank Reich? I mean, I wouldn't have did that at the beginning. If you want to get rid of him, wait until the end of the season. Make some plans of who you're going to get and who you're looking at. But just abruptly, I didn't even think he'd get fired early in the season. Young team,
right?
Out. I mean, you didn't even give this guy a chance to put his system in completely, and he's out of there. And even when he was there before, you still have a major turnover on the team. How could he get any continuity? None. And Canales is not either if they're going to continue to change stuff over. They better let him stay with everybody there.
My question is how bad that team is playing. And knowing the history of David Tepper and his basically impatience to let things play out, you have to debate or think in the back of your head, is Canales on the hot seat? They're going to fire him midseason.
Yeah, well, it might
if
be
they go 0-6 or 0-7, and Andy Dalton, who's 37 years old, I mean, Andy Dalton, he's an average quarterback, solid quarterback.
Yeah, and it's a good backup.
He's getting older. He's a backup. He's getting a little bit older, longer in the tooth. He's 30, I believe 37. Now you bring this guy in, and I don't have any problem benching Bryce. I think that they did him a favor.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think Canales, I think he's actually not a bad guy. And I think I know why he did it.
Yeah, I don't think he did it because I don't want him. He's just no good. I think he don't want to ruin him.
That's it. And I think he sees how the young man, Bryce Young, is playing quarterback and realizes it's like you've got to step away. That's like anything you're doing. Sometimes if there's a situation, I don't know, golfer, you can't get your stroke down, you're shanking the ball, whatever. Sometimes you have to step away and like, okay, you need a week off, you need a week or two, you need to get away from it, whatever it is. I think that's what they did with Bryce Young. I don't have a problem with that because I think he is to the point where his confidence is shot and he's got bad habits and he's got happy feet. Good reason why, because he's running for his life. He's got that man on fire look in his eyes like Daniel Jones has. We'll get to the Giants here in a bit. But the bottom line is I believe they really did the young man a favor. Now the only problem they're going to have, many problems, but one challenge will be can they develop anything with Bryce Young, or do they trade him away and get nothing for him, maybe a 7th round pick and a team? And there is a team out there and there is a coordinator out there that can look at Bryce Young and say, I can fix him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's somebody.
There's always somebody out there.
It'd be if he had a average arm, arm strength, didn't really have a lot of arm talent, he'll be done. But the guy has a strong arm. He can make every throw.
Right.
So he has the ability to get the ball there. They'd say, hey, let's fix this here if it's a mechanic problem or just in his head and get it right. And we'll get this guy and he could be a star for us. So it's always going to be somebody that thinks he definitely got arm talent. There's no doubt about that.
You have 31 other teams in the league with 31 offensive coordinators, 31 head coaches. I will guarantee you there's probably, minimum of 5 to 6 coordinators out there that can look at Bryce Young and say, if we can get him on a trade, let's do it.
Yeah.
Can we get him for a 7th round pick? Well, I'll take him. We could get him in here, learn maybe sit a year behind a veteran quarterback, and then we can work him in and I can develop because he's got the talent, like you said, the arm strength, the ability to play. We can get him in and develop him. And I really believe there are teams out there. I might be wrong, but there's teams making a phone call to Carolina saying, we'll give you a couple 7-round picks. We want him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right now. Yeah. Saturday Morning Sports Page, back after a quick timeout on Western Reserve Radio.
Accidents happen. That's why you need Repair That Glass. Specializing in windshield replacement and all other auto glass, we offer a full range of automotive glass repairs. Our technicians can do everything from minor chip repair to a complete replacement. Your windows don't go up or down, they can fix that too, along with custom glass work and antiques. Repair That Glass is a family-run business for over 40 years. Repair That Glass. Call for your appointment now at 330-534-3192.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Catch all of the spring and summer action of Cleveland Cobras minor league football on Western Reserve Radio. Follow the Cobras as they compete against teams from around the region in pursuit of a Tri-Point Football League championship. And if you're looking to continue your football career after high school, college, or even the pros, or to be part of the Cobras staff, go to Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football. Or contact owner Jesse Caldwell at 330-416-3442. Be a part of the excitement of Cleveland Cobras football.
Want to know what I like best about high school sports? I love watching my son run on the field. I love the fact that since he's been playing high school sports, he's making better decisions. And I love knowing that with the proper equipment, education, conditioning, and coaching, high school sports here in Ohio are safer than ever before. That's something I really love.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Sunday morning sports page coming right back at you. 330-707-4202. Get in and talk sports. Do it every Saturday morning here, and here is Western Reserve Radio. Dave Clark, talking a lot about the Carolina Panthers train wreck of a team. Already got 2 bad losses, blown out by 2 by New Orleans, and then the Chargers pretty much
they dominated
the game. I believe it was 26-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did look it up. I did say, Syracuse lost last night 26-24, and Kyle McCord, the ex-Ohio State Buckeye, did throw a pick six, a 71 in the third quarter. They were losing at that time. Syracuse down 13-10, and unfortunately, McCord threw a 71 interception return. Mitch Ledger for the Stanford Cardinal, and then though McCord did recover, he later in the quarter he threw a 19-yard. Actually had a 19-yard touchdown run, get him back in the game, 20-17, and then unfortunately in the fourth quarter, Syracuse scored to go up 24-23, 13-yard touchdown pass from Kyle McCord. And then the field goal, though, at the end of the game, and Stanford did pull that out 26-24. So we have an ex-Buckeye up there in Syracuse overall. He's pretty solid quarterback, Kyle McCord. His numbers were, he was 27 out of 42, 339 yards. He had 2 TDs and 2 interceptions, though. Got to get rid of those interceptions.
Yeah.
So Syracuse goes to 2-1. Then the other game last night, Stanford is 2-1. We saw the Illinois Illini, Brett Bielema, head coach, big win at they were played at Nebraska, and they won that game. I think that was overtime.
Yeah, it went to overtime.
Yeah, it went into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So Illinois, big win last night over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 31-24 in overtime, like previously stated. Mm-hmm. That puts Illinois at 4-0.
Yeah,
going into this college football, and Nebraska goes down to 3-1.
Yeah, and surprising both teams. So improving. Bielema definitely gets his team usually wherever he goes, Arkansas, whatever. He gets them going pretty good. So they look good. They definitely, the quarterback play was excellent.
Yeah, very good.
And the play calling on the offense and defense was good. But that was a good, hard-fought football game. And,
2 good teams in the Big, and that's good for the Big Ten. They need that. They need these we talk about it all the time. These are not quite the Ohio State level top tier, but they are, the lower tier. Now they need to be kind of the mid-level and work to the upper tier. And that's good news for like an Illinois and Nebraska, though, to improve, because that makes the conference a lot better when these teams are good.
Yeah.
And Illinois is working their way up to an upper tier team. They might be there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. This could be the team this year that could surprise a lot of teams in the Big Ten, as I think Nebraska will too.
Yeah. It'll be good. Interesting to see as you move forward. But if those teams can keep playing like that, at conferences, especially now that it's the big 1,000. That's what I call it, because y'all know how many teams. It's probably 16, 17 teams in the conference now. I don't know, somewhere up in there, and so it'll make that conference.
I think it is. Really, I think it's. They added Oregon, Washington. They were at 14. Now they're, I believe, at No, they added 4 teams.
Yeah.
Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA, and I believe they were at 14, so I believe they're at 18.
18, yeah.
Yeah, I almost lose track of these conferences because they keep adding teams like the Big 12, I believe added 4 teams.
Yeah.
So it's almost like now you're just going to have, ultimately these just conferences. SEC added Oklahoma, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And then even the ACC now has Stanford and Cal in the ACC.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And it just may,
you lose
after
track.
a while, you're just going to have that. That's going to be, you probably only have 3 conferences, as we keep continue to go.
You're evolving that way. There's still that talk out there that Florida State and Clemson want out of the ACC, but they're running into too many hurdles, and the payment to get out is outrageous. So that's what's keeping them in for now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. At this point, the way Florida State's playing, they lost again to Memphis State last week.
Yep.
I think we both picked Florida State.
Well, I picked them just on the idea that they should win. They got to win. And I watched them and had at the beginning. I said, this doesn't look good.
No.
And, Memphis State, I said it last. I remember watching them all the time. They always are a threat.
They're
to
always
teams.
right.
But I said, Florida State, you should be able to beat them. Just handle that business there. No, they had major problems with Memphis State. So was the coach Norrell or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is he? I guess he'd be there. You're already seeing rumors. The Deion Sanders rumors are started already with that bring him back home to Florida State. But I think he's going to stay in Colorado, though.
I think he's going to stay there
at least another year or so.
I think he needs to kind of get that ship righted. Right now, Colorado's kind of struggling a little bit. They beat Colorado State.
They're 2-1 right now.
They're 2-1, but they lost to Nebraska, and it wasn't a close game. Nebraska dominated. What's plagues Colorado is the line play. Deion's got the skill positions, but the line play is where he's still getting beat up.
Well, they must have did. Well, they did say that they had a practice of the offensive skill positions did more film study the last week, and the offensive and defensive lines had some other type of practice. And you've seen the improvement. They protected them better in this last game. Colorado State couldn't get to them, even though they've been known to have a pretty good pass rush. So that helped them offensively. But I was impressed with the defense. But they said that coach that they got from the Bengals was the Bengals assistant defensive coordinator and defensive back coach. Deion got him from them because he was free on contract. He was getting ready to go back to the Bengals. He took that offer for college. Yeah. And he's getting that defense going. If he can keep that defensive line play like it was, now they can be a problem because they do have the skill, but they got to be able to slow people down. And they did well against them because they do have some weapons too, Colorado State, but they got to build off of it. That's how you got to do it and to see what happens from there.
Well, Mike Norvell is the head coach for Florida State.
Yeah, I'm shocked because he's a pretty good coach.
Good coach.
They don't look right.
They just don't look well. They don't look right, as you said.
Undefeated last year.
And now they're 0-3.
And I got screwed to a certain extent of not being in that playoff at that time.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, not without Travis.
They didn't have their quarterback.
The quarterback was the guy they needed for sure. And I think that was in it too because Final Four, do we want to put this team in? They got no shot.
They had no
with
shot.
The backup. So, but I think if Travis was playing,
that's different.
They would have. I think they would have picked him. I think they'd be in too.
They're in.
I think
if the quarterback was healthy and playing, they'd get in.
He was in the Heisman.
And Alabama's probably out, or Texas is out.
Yes, one of
those two would be out.
That's right.
But now I don't know if I really believe it wouldn't matter because Michigan was going to win it anyway. Michigan was the best team.
Oh yeah.
Physicality.
Yeah,
they were just the best
overall
team.
Overall
veteran
laden team. guys that's 4-year starters all over the board. Physical. They just had too much. They had too much there, and they lost a lot. They lost a lot for sure.
Well, Ohio State plays Marshall today at noon on Fox, so that'll be their other third exhibition game of the season.
I won't watch it. Yeah, there's a couple people that asked me to want to watch it. I couldn't anyway. I had some things going on anyway. Right. But even if I could, I didn't want. It's hard for me to sit there, and it's beautiful today.
Yeah, today's too nice a day to be inside.
I couldn't watch that. That's it's not enjoyable to watch them just run up and down the field on a team. Now maybe Marshall come in and play, but I don't think Ohio State is going to do what Notre Dame has done and get beat by. They're not going to get.
No, I don't believe
they're not going to let them sneak up.
No, they're not going to let Marshall. You never know. But
but I just
maybe Marshall can make it a relatively competitive game, but I'm not getting my hopes
my breath on
it. Anyway, let's get over last week's the NFL picks. Let's get to the NFL because we can get to the games and talk about these teams. You were very good last week. You were 9-6-1. Yeah. I was 6-9-1, and obviously the Texans won but did not cover. Now, before we got to get to the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles. You had that game. That is one of the worst loss you could suffer in the way Philadelphia suffered that loss to Atlanta Falcons on Monday night.
Yep.
You let Kirk Cousins, who I thought I was watching Johnny Unitas on the last drive down the field. I mean, that defense, they either were spent, had spit the bit.
Yeah, go back and look at the game again. Look, if you know defense, what they're playing, and me and Mark was talking about. He said, why was the Eagles playing the old? It's not called this today, but prevent defense.
The old prevent.
And he said, what? I said, I don't know. I said, because prevent. Usually, I always say it prevents you from winning. You let guys have these big windows to throw in, and all you need is just a few chunks to get down the field. And today's game, 50-something yard field goal is a chip shot. Today's game. These kickers are unbelievable.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is get a 55-yard field goal range, and they got a good chance of making it. And I just seen them just easily. They look like the end of the season Philadelphia Eagles on defense at the end.
Well, they just...
now that never happens. One guy said to me, well, you got to remember Barkley dropped. I said, you're right. If Barkley catches that ball, the game is over. It's over.
He might have actually scored a touchdown.
He might have.
If he catches the ball.
Yep. I believe that too.
When I saw that, I thought he could have had the touchdown.
Yeah, he would have probably had a touchdown. Not the first. He would have got the first down, but I think he might have scored, like you said.
I think he would have scored.
And but can't just, I told him, I said, we can't just look at it. Yeah, he did drop it. But, okay, now they take over.
They kick the field goal.
They kick the field. Now play defense.
And
and just play your regular defense. Just come after Kirk Cousins and get him. If you lose it on that, you just lose.
Right.
But don't lay back.
Lay back and
And that's what they did right down the field, just like a veteran quarterback does.
They're getting a lot of criticism for the play call with Barkley because he dropped the ball, and in essence, the incomplete stopped the clock. Where if they would have run the ball, some people will even believe that they would have actually fourth down, run the ball again, and literally given Kirk Cousins no time left on the clock, and they would have had a 3-point lead.
That's what my brother said. Just run it, and if you don't even get the first down or
run
score,
it again on 4.
Just go ahead.
Let the clock keep running down.
They had no timeouts. I don't believe. Did they? If they did, maybe one.
And they might have had one. No, I don't think they had any.
I don't think they had any. I don't believe. And how are they going to stop that clock?
But to let Kirk Cousins, like I said, turn into Johnny Unitas and run down, I literally pick you apart. I mean,
he's good enough to do that.
Right.
That's why I wouldn't want him to have the ball in his hands.
Exactly right.
At the end.
Kirk Cousins is a good enough quarterback But the throws were, those guys were so wide open.
Yeah.
He was just literally picking them, and he had nobody near him. I mean, he was able to drop back, look, the coverages. He's a veteran quarterback. Now you know why Atlanta gave him all the money, because he's worth it. And Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback, especially when you've got no one up in his face.
And that's what I said. Prevent defense, they wasn't bringing nobody.
Not only that, you let the wide receivers, everybody open.
Well, when you're in prevent, you're not covering anybody. Prevent it's a zone defense that gives pockets. There's going to be pockets, so you got to react to the quarterback and get there if you can. But it's too risky when you have a veteran like that, because he could pick that apart.
And that's what he did.
And that's what'll happen.
I couldn't believe it.
I don't like that. I never liked it.
No,
I'd rather you just play it and you get beat.
You get beat.
You get the defensive back get beat.
The quarterback. Rush. Do something.
Well, I go back way. This is going way back, 40-something years. But this is what people used to complain about the Cleveland Browns, but I never did. Cleveland Browns they know they didn't make the Super Bowl. Well, I'm going all the way back to Brian Sipe days. They used to be at the end of a game, and they didn't care. They said, Hanford Dixon, you go over here. Frank Minifield, you got that guy. And whoever in the slot, you got him. We're playing man, and we're coming.
And we're coming.
And I done seen them lose games on that, big games, but it wasn't because they wasn't trying.
That's it.
They did not play prevent.
No.
They never played it. They just played you man up.
Yep.
Let's go. That's the way the Raiders used to play.
Yep.
All of them. You play like that. You play to win, not to prevent yourself from winning the game. So that's a bad loss. And you're going to have to recover. You got to recover from that. And I mean, they got the team to recover from that, but you got to get it, because that can stick in your
that sticks in your crawl.
Yeah.
Loss, because that's a game you look at and it's like, well, you should have won that.
Yep.
You should have won the game. You were ahead. You were pretty much ahead in the game, dominating the game to a large extent. But that was a game you're looking, well, they should win this one because they were up by 6, just play defense. Yeah. And you should win it.
I just think you just run it at the end, forget the field goal, and hey, I just run it and let that clock get down to about 38 seconds, and now you got to travel
plays,
90. Well, at least you got to get at least 70 yards
for the field goal to get close.
You're going to have to do that,
and then and that's what a lot of Philadelphia fans listening to talk radio were like. We should have just run the ball twice, and worst case scenario, they tie us and force overtime. Mm-hmm. They could get the ball maybe in 30 seconds or not. Maybe see if they can get a field goal out of us, potentially, if they could get it in field goal position. But
they couldn't even a field goal wouldn't have did them any good.
Or would have tied it.
Would that have tied it?
Yeah, they would have tied it because they lost. The field goal put them up by 6.
Yeah.
Then this touchdown, 22-21. So what it was 17. What was
the final score again?
22-21.
Right, but they scored a touchdown, right? Atlanta scored a touchdown,
and they were losing 21-15.
Right, so a field goal for them wouldn't have helped.
But if they would have kicked the, what was it? They would have, they would have kicked the field. Right, they would have been up by 6.
Who was that?
Oh, no.
No, you see what I'm saying?
No. But if they don't kick the field goal and go for it, they're only up 3.
Right.
What they were saying is some of the Philly fans said we should not have kicked the field goal, kept the 3-point lead.
Yeah.
And then the worst case scenario is we run the ball 2 plays, get the clock down to almost like 30 seconds. The worst case scenario is if Kirk Cousins could complete a long pass out of bounds, maybe we get lucky and kick a field goal to tie it.
Just tie. That's it.
The tie. The worst case scenario we could get is to a tie.
Yeah.
And that's why people were going crazy is because they're saying you should have just run the ball twice, even on 4th down, run it. Don't get the field goal. You're still up 3, but you're giving Kirk Cousins the ball at the 3 or 4 yard line with 30 seconds left with no timeouts. we'll take a shot. And the worst case scenario is maybe he hits a pass, guy gets out of bounds, there's maybe interference, and maybe they kick a 60-yard field goal to tie us.
Right.
That would be the best thing. That's the worst case scenario. We would rather take that than giving Kirk Cousins the ball with a little under 2 minutes with no timeouts. But then he did what he did is he picked us apart.
Yeah, and they played and when I said it was a prevent is because the corners was off. You could play right. Not prevent. You could play zone behind the man. You can have the corners up tight,
right,
bumping them, getting them off course,
right,
and then you have everybody else in the zone. You could do that, and that way you'd be able to see underneath and behind and keep them on the field of play. But they didn't do that.
No.
They played complete prevent, so he just went and hit those pockets.
And those guys were getting out of bounds.
They was getting out of bounds, getting in good spots. And then now you got in a bad position where all he got to do is find one guy open and he can score. And that's exactly what happened. And right down the field. So that right there is, we know the head coach is going to get it because he's the head coach. But that's the only thing that I don't like about the defensive coordinator. I always liked him. That we got
Fangio is their defensive coordinator.
Him, but he is known. That's one of the things that other teams have said, players have said, playing for. They love his system, but a lot of times he gets too conservative in big areas of the game. They don't like that he gets conservative, and that was conservative call. I'm going to stay aggressive. I'm going to be Rex. I'm going to be Buddy.
Yeah,
I'm going to be them Buddy. Guys because they're
Buddy
coming.
Ryan.
Or our guy that was at the Ravens and also at the Giants.
Wink Martindale.
They're not doing that. You going to beat me, you just beat me. I am coming, and I'm coming with all kind of exotic blitzes. Dick LeBeau, I'm all of guys. That's who I am.
I'm coming after you.
You know, I can't do this stuff of sitting back in the zone and seeing we can see. No. Can't do it.
Let's hit the let's do to the games this week. Let's start it off with the Giants are at the Browns 6.5. Giants forgot Dable got criticized last week because he didn't have a kicker. Gano blows a hamstring, hurts a hamstring, so he can't kick.
Yeah, that's terrible.
They gave up on the punter, was trying to kick an extra point, and he missed it. And after that, they didn't give him another chance to kick again. He abandoned that. So he had no kicker. And ultimately, they lose 21-18 to the Washington Commanders, who really aren't a great football team, but neither are the Giants. But Jaden Daniels played very well. The Giant defense, again, gave up 7 field goals. Washington did not punt the ball the whole game.
Yeah.
That's kind of how bad the Giant defense was, but the defense didn't allow a touchdown. The offense, they scored 3 touchdowns. They missed 1 extra point and failed on 2-point conversions on the other 2. And then they didn't try a field goal after that because once the kicker, I believe his name was Gillian, was the punter. He was the one that tried the extra point. And after he missed it, Dable abandoned that.
Yeah,
and then
I think you still got to try. You got to still try. I think
that's what I said. If you should have at least tried it. Neighbors, their star receiver out of LSU, dropped a 4th down ball that would have probably could have won the game for the Giants. They were deep in Washington territory on their last drive, and then obviously Washington got the ball, moved right down on the defense, kicked the field goal. They win the game. Experts are saying that Dable should have at least had the practice squad kicker should have been on the field or in the lineup because you knew Gano went into the game with a bad groin. So you think, well, maybe this guy there's a potential he could get hurt. We should have a backup kicker there. And he got absolutely roasted by the New York press. Even one guy went so far to ask him, say, well, if the guy had a bad groin, don't you think if he's running down the field, he's favoring the groin, so you can pull a hamstring when you're favoring, it's like if you favor one part of your body, another part of your body goes, and obviously Dable goes, I'm not a doctor, I can't answer that. So that's how the New York press handled it, and they were just relentless in roasting Brian Dable.
Oh, yeah.
New York Post give the grades to the team. They grade the offense, the defense, special teams, and coach, and Dable got another F. So you could see things are not well in New York, especially with the Giants, and the Jets are playing it. I don't know if he's going to make it through the year.
Because he, for one of the requirements for being a coach in New York is you got to have thick skin.
Very thick.
And be able to handle that press. And if you can't do that, you're not going to last long in New York, for sure. New York, Chicago, those type of places, Philly, you will not last. You got to be able to handle the press.
The
you
press
have
are
to.
Just tough.
And Dable never handles it well.
No, he doesn't.
And I just think, I don't know if he had 3 quarterbacks, but somewhere on the roster, and I know things get thin. You don't want to mess with the offensive line or defensive line. You want to make sure you got linemen. But it's somewhere in there. Can I maybe put this kicker on the active roster and take maybe a defensive back off? Somewhere. Let me take a guy off, maybe that extra tight end. I got 3 tight ends on the roster. Let me take him off. I don't care if he's special teams. We'll get somebody in there. We have to do something. If you got a guy with a pulled groin how do you know he's not going to be called on to kick a long field goal?
And he can't do it.
So have a guy ready just in case. And then there's another thing. The punter. I don't know how much. Now, this part we don't know. But at practice, I know in college, we used to have our punter practice field goals and extra points all the time, just in case of an emergency situation come up. He's used to doing it, and he can come in and do that. Why in the world that he wouldn't do that? Instead of just yanking this guy and say, hey, go kick that. I know you probably can kick it.
The kicker, the punter in question is Jamie Gillan. And he had kicked a 40-yard field goal previously, I think with the Cleveland Browns. They were talking about this, and they were saying that they were upset. The press, they were upset because they said he missed the extra point. Give him another chance. See if he can kick it. Don't abandon. No, he misses an extra point. Dable abandons the punter, and ultimately they lose the game 21-18 because if they were actually in position to get a couple field goals, and he wouldn't try this guy, and they weren't long field goals. There's so much going on with this. And then why didn't you let him at least get another extra point? They did not convert any extra points. Nothing. And then they lose 21-18 to the team that they should have won the game. But we'll get the football picks coming up. It's halftime of the Saturday Morning Sports Page. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem's local and national sports talk can be found on TuneIn and the Live 365 app at Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge.
Meludic Live is your home for high school sports. We have all the scores on our social media platforms throughout the games. Enjoy our timely updates from local area schools year-round. You won't get the consistency and reliability from anyone else. Our number one priority is servicing our fans and getting them live news as it's happening. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Meludic_Live. And remember, our fans come first.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Saturday morning sports page coming right back at you. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. 330-707-4202 as we were going to start with the NFL picks today. See if we can get these in. I know we got some college to look at too. A lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of injuries in the NFL.
Yeah.
What? Second, going into the third week of the NFL, and some of these teams are like a mash unit.
Yeah.
Let's get over to the Giants at the Browns. This is 1:00 tomorrow on Fox. Big game, obviously, for both teams. Giants are getting 6.5 points. Dave Clark. Again, you did very good last week, 9-6-1. I did not do so good. I was 6-9-1. It was just one of those weeks. A lot of people didn't do very good. There were a lot of upsets. Baltimore losing to the Raiders. Dave Clark, congratulations. You picked that one.
Yep.
And the other big upset, Tampa Bay beating Detroit at Detroit. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah. They're playing well.
So not only did Detroit fail to cover, they lost the game.
Yeah.
So it was a whammy. But we've got this one. What do you think, Dave Clark?
I'm gonna take the Browns and
lay the points.
Was it 6 and a hook or 6?
It was 6 and a hook.
Yeah, that's tough though. But
this was a tough one to go.
Yeah, because this is going to be tough.
Daniel Jones looked pretty good. To two Brown.
That hooks make me want to go to the Giants though.
The two, I did look this up. The two tackles on the Browns are questionable, so they're not considered out.
Was it Jones and who else?
Conklin.
Oh yeah, Conklin. He's been out.
Wills.
Oh yeah,
they're both questionable now.
Yeah,
they've been upgraded to questionable.
Yeah.
Pierre Strong Jr. is out, and the tight end Njoku, he's out.
Right.
Ankle. The Giants have basically Nick McLeod out, cornerback, but then Brian Burns is out. Well, he's got a groin, and he's questionable.
Yeah.
That's the injury situation. Let's go ahead. I will move to the I for some reason I like the Browns in this. I know the Giants could get their first win.
Yeah, they could. This is a tough one.
I just don't like the fact that I think they're disarray, and they're not playing the Commanders this week either. They took advantage. Commanders' defense is poor. The Giants should have won, didn't win. But they're playing a different team this week, and I don't think they're going to have the success. Daniel Jones is going to have problems against this Brown defense. Let's go on to the Packers are at the Titans. The Packers' big win. Jordan Love is questionable now. Potentially could play. Malik Willis did play very well last week. They gave him an offense for him to succeed at.
Yeah.
They ran the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And they did beat the Colts last week 16-10. The Titans lost to the Jets last week, but again, Levis is turning the ball over too much. They had, I believe, another block punt.
Yeah.
Levis turned the ball over. I think this is the first time they said that no team has ever had a block punt and a pick 6 2 weeks in a row in NFL history or some crazy thing like that. And the Titans did it again.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know what he was doing when he threw that ball, like trying to pitch
he did
it
that
out
against Chicago, and then he did it again against the Jets.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking.
I don't know what he's thinking either.
But I forgot who's the backup, but he's waiting real quick because I mean he has all the talent, arm strength, he has all of it, but decision making is a problem, and that's bad decision by Levis. I mean, just take the sack. Whatever the situation, just live for another day. Quit trying to make these big plays out of nothing.
Mason Rudolph is their backup.
And I'm gonna say this: if Mason Rudolph was the starter, the Tennessee Titans would be 2-0 right now. Don't turn the ball over a lot, and then he's going to just make the throw, and he's not going to try to play hero ball. That's not Mason Rudolph. He'll just go ahead and get sacked.
He's disciplined.
Yeah, he'll just be sacked.
He'll take the sack.
Yep.
He won't make the mistakes.
Not those kind. Those things was ridiculous what that Levis was doing. And boy, the Callahan didn't hold back. Right on.
Oh no,
he interviewed him. He said it,
and
he
he
said,
told
you got to make dumb. He even said it as he's coming off field. What are you doing, making these stupid decisions? And they were stupid decisions. So.
2 losses, both 27. And you know, the sad part is they lost both games by the score of 24-17. And basically, it's given 2 touchdowns to the opposing team. They gave the 2 touchdowns to Chicago. They gave the 2 touchdowns to the Jets. And now they're 0-2. Now they're playing the Packers in Tennessee. And it's 3 point. The Packers get 3 points. Ooh. Which kind of, I guess it doesn't surprise me, but.
Well, see, this is the thing. Oh my goodness. If Willis is starting, I'm actually taking the Titans. I got to take, and that is not against him. I just think he doesn't know the whole playbook yet. So they got to run a lot. I do not believe that you're going to be able to run on the Tennessee Titans like you did, as I told you, that sieve in Indianapolis. You're not going to be able to run against them the same way. And if you just do that and bottle that up, now you force Willis to have to make a lot of throws, and who knows them better than the Tennessee Titans? Some of his tendencies and different things of that nature. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Titans, even though they're giving up points. It is. But if Jordan Love is playing, if he's healthy enough to play, then I got to switch it back. But you know what? The line might even change if Jordan Love is playing.
Yeah, right now it's questionable. I don't know if he's going to play or not.
Yeah, I think they'll change the line and everything. But, Willis starting, I'm going to take the Titans.
Yeah, I know. I'm almost inclined to do the Titans because I think they're a solid team, and I don't think he'll make those turnovers again. And they're home, and I think they will recover.
Yeah, he makes that at home. Believe me. Was that both games were on the road or no?
They lost the Jets. That was a home game.
Oh, see, the hometown Tennessee is not going to go for another stupid, they see that they're going to have a fit.
No.
They'll be calling for his head. So you're right. He probably will make that mistake again.
Let's move on to the Bears. I'll take the Titans too. I have a feeling that they will at least come back. Although, man, I almost took Packers, but it's think,
tough.
The Titans are a solid football team, and they're not a bad team. They outplayed Chicago, kind of outplayed the Jets. 2 games they should have won. So I think if they don't have the turnovers and the block kick and the interception, they win game. They're 2-0. Let's go to the Bears at the Colts, and this is the Bears are at the Colts. Bears get 1.5. They downgraded it to a point. I got 1.5. I'll just leave it at 1.5. The Bears get 1.5 on the road at Baltimore.
Or Indianapolis. Is it Indianapolis?
At Indy.
Okay.
The game's in Indy. Dome. Caleb Williams coming after a tough loss to the Texans on Sunday night, 19-13. And obviously the Colts lost to the Packers last week. We got that one wrong. We went with the Colts to beat the Packers because Malik with Willis. But
yep.
Bears get 1.5 points on the road.
I'm going to take the Bears.
Yeah, I'll take Bears too. Simple reason is because the Colts, I don't think, are a very good football team. Yeah. And Richardson, I know, is struggling at the position as quarterback. But from what I've been told, I haven't seen a lot of games, but their offensive line is not so good. And that's across. That seems to be across the board. Yeah. All these teams' offensive line, and some experts go, they're not practicing. They don't have a preseason anymore. And the line is always behind as far as getting back into sync compared to the defense. And defenses are bigger,
they do got good
stronger,
offensive line players, but they haven't been playing well. But, another thing is when you're behind, now you change your game plan because you can't run the ball with Jonathan Taylor and Richardson here and there. You got to start throwing, and that throws things out of sync. So
especially when you're 3rd and 9 and those long – that's not a good formula for success if you're down 3rd and 9 because they know that you're throwing the ball. That puts the quarterback in tough spots where your turnovers are going to be more frequent.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's move on to the Texans at the Vikings.
That's interesting.
And this is a real interesting one because I can't figure anything out anymore. The Texans basically are getting let's see, -2. So Houston is at -2. The Vikings are actually getting 2 points at home.
It's a tough one now. Stroud plays well, but the thing about it, you're playing a team that gets after the quarterback. I mean, they come to. Brian Flores is a guy you don't want to play against all the time.
No, defense is tough.
Yeah, he will find a way. That's a hard one because Sam Darnold's playing great. Jefferson is healthy and playing.
Upset the 49ers last week, 23-17.
Yep.
The Bears were losing. The Bears lost. The Texans beat the Bears last week, 19-13, coming off that big Sunday night win.
I'm going to take the Vikings at home. I'm a surprise as one because Texans, I think, is I don't know because the Vikings, they play well in the
They say
season.
that playing in that field is like a greenhouse effect. It's so hot in there with the windows at Minnesota.
Well, I could believe that. I could definitely believe that. So, that will be like a greenhouse. So,
I'll go Vikings too.
Yeah, I'm going Vikings.
So, let's go ahead and go to the next one up is the Eagles at the Saints. Eagles are basically getting 2 and a hook on the road against the Saints. The Saints are 2-0. The Eagles, again, coming off an ugly Monday night loss, a game that they obviously should have won, did not win. And they get 2.5 on the road. I don't know if I'm just inclined. Again, we talked the Saints to crush the Cowboys last week in Dallas, 44-19. So they're playing absolutely lights out.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Carolina first week, so I don't put a lot of stock in that. But to take the Cowboys out to the woodshed in Dallas means a lot. So I look at that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Eagles. I know part of me and a lot of people think, no, you know what? I'm kind of up on the board on that. I was thinking maybe I'll take this. You know what? I'm going to change it. I'm taking the Saints.
Yep, I'm going to take the Eagles.
You're taking the Eagles. Mm-hmm. I'll take the Saints at home.
I thought they were giving the Saints points. I thought I seen that, but it's the.
No, this is what I kept looking at too. I thought that too.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it. It's New Orleans -2.5.
Yeah,
and I thought that was strange because I always thought it was strange that Houston, the Vikings were underdogs at home. I know Houston's a good team, but I thought, man, that's really strange that the Vikings are a home dog in their own field, like they were with the Niners.
Yeah.
And New Orleans is actually giving 2.5 to the Eagle. I'll take the Saints. You're going to Eagles.
Yep.
Let's move on. Now, this one, the Chargers and the Steelers, both teams are 2-0.
Right.
This line is interesting because it's moved, I think, significantly.
Yep.
It went from 1.5 to -3.
Yeah.
I think because Herbert's not going to play. Stick will play for the Chargers. So now the Chargers are getting 3 points on the road in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and that makes me change.
Well, if Herbert doesn't play, the Chargers.
I mean, Stick, he has talent, but I don't know if your talent can get displayed against a Pittsburgh defense. And that defense, are they at home in Pittsburgh, right?
Pittsburgh's at home.
It's not a good recipe for a backup quarterback that to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers and normal. And that makes me just take the Steelers. But Chargers have been able to run the ball and do things, but I just don't know if you do that against Pittsburgh's defense.
Herbert's got the high ankle sprain, which is just a brutal injury.
Yep. You got to be careful with him. You don't want to. Nope. That's your guy. You need him.
And I guess, boy, the Steelers didn't look. Again, they beat the Broncos. The Broncos
they beat them, but they don't look great.
The Steelers
the defense
don't
looks good, but that offense is.
And the Broncos, for the sake of discussion, could have popped. Bo Nix throws that ball in the end zone. That interception in the end zone was so bad.
Yeah, it was way off target.
Way off target.
His back foot.
Right.
All kind of stuff that you usually don't do. And I wouldn't expect him to do it, but he is a rookie, a young quarterback, and he may make those mistakes. So,
yeah, I don't have at this point. This to me, this is a coin. This could be a push game.
Yep.
As it is though too. I don't particularly think the Steelers are playing that good. San Diego. We know they are the San Diego Chargers. We don't care. They're not the LA, but we still call them the San Diego Chargers. I'll go ahead and I'll take the Steelers too. But I don't know. If Herbert plays, they might have a better chance, but I don't think he is going to.
Me either.
Let's go to the Broncos at the Bucks. It's now 6 points. Boy, they changed these lines.
It went down a little bit.
Went down a little bit. Broncos are getting 6 points in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, big win last week against the Lions, caught everybody off guard, 20-16. And the Broncos lost to the Steelers at home, 13-6, which was kind of an ugly game to watch. Not a good game to watch. It was kind of, boy, those teams can't get out of one another's way. The Steelers pull one out.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll go out and I'll take the Bucks to go to 3-0.
Yeah, me too.
I think that Todd Bowles will drive a new quarterback crazy. I know they got a lot of injuries on the Buccaneer defense, but Todd Bowles is, I think, one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's a genius when it comes to defense. And I'll take the Bucks, and they pull one out against the Broncos. Panthers are at the Raiders. -6 now. So the Raiders are giving the Panthers -6. The Panthers get 6 points. It's a 4:00 game on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Panthers will now go with our main man, the rifle.
Yep.
What do they call him? The Red Rifle.
Red Rifle.
Andy Dalton is now getting his first start with the Panthers on the road against the Raiders. The Raiders' big win last week caught, again, everybody off guard, 26-23, big win over the Ravens. Yeah. We'll get to the Ravens in Dallas here in a bit. But I'll take Raiders.
Yeah, I want to too. 6 points, right?
6. I'll lay the 6. I'm assuming you want the Raiders, right?
Yeah, I mean, I usually do. I'm just wondering, I don't know if they have a letdown. Max Crosby, they say he's questionable to play, but that guy probably play with a
he's
cast
going to play.
Yeah, he probably play with a cast.
He's got a motor. His motor is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is a hard one, but I got to take the Raiders. I got to do it.
Let's go out to Seattle. The Miami Dolphins are at the Seahawks. 4.5. Miami gets 4.5. Skylar Thompson is their quarterback. Tua is out for 4 weeks. He's on the IR, which is no surprise to everybody. The only question with Tua is when does he come back, or if he comes back at this point. Going to really wait for the medical professions to make. The professionals will have to make that decision. The doctors are going to make that decision if Tua's can come back and play after suffering his basically the fourth concussion, even though it's the third. We know it's the fourth concussion that he suffered. And we just don't know if and when he's coming back. He's out for 4 weeks. We do know that. So it is a Skylar Thompson.
Well, if it's a Skylar Thompson we've seen against one time again, he had to take over for him against Buffalo. Now that could be a problem. He looked good, but I just don't know if he can be consistent. I don't know what's going to happen. Seattle as a favorite. They giving up 4?
4.5.
Oh, 4 and a hook. I'm gonna go on a limb and take the Dolphins.
Taking the Fins.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Fins.
All right. I'll take the Seahawks. I think the other problem with
Geno Smith been playing great too.
The problem you have with not only with Miami having the quarterback, they did not look good. They did play good against Jacksonville.
No, they
got beat bad by Buffalo. Take 2 out of the formula. That offensive line on Miami is kind of a train wreck.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have a lot of problems with Seattle with that noise and that crowd.
And they can't run the ball. So that's the problem. They got to run the ball.
And they got to run the ball. And I don't think with that offensive line they're going to do it. I think Miami's got more problems, not only with Tua being hurt, but just the fact that that offensive line might be one of the worst offensive lines in the league. They can't block anybody. Skylar Thompson's going to be running for his life up in Seattle, and that is a noisy, one of the worst stadiums for noise. It drives the opponents crazy up there. And I think Seattle Seahawk fans will be cranked up, ready to go, and Seattle could be 3-0.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if you go by the old formula, you would go with Miami just with the fact that there's no way Seattle's good enough to go 3-0. They're going to blow one. And I've thought about starting to look at things that way, but I just can't.
And I think they will beat Seattle. I think they win. I'm just wondering if it's going to be
they're going to cover it.
3-point win or something like that.
Let's go to maybe the biggest game of the week, although they're all big games, and we're getting to a lot of late afternoon games this week, and then we had a doubleheader on Monday night to get to. Let's go to the Ravens at the Cowboys. I think it's the biggest game, basically because the Ravens are looking at an 0-3.
Yep.
They actually have Baltimore giving a point to Dallas.
I've seen that. And I can't see Dallas playing. Well, they can't do nothing about the defense. They can't stop nobody running the football. So I don't know. And you better but I'm gonna go Dallas for the simple reason. What is going on with what's the offensive coordinator, Todd Monken?
Yeah, Monk, yeah.
Why if they get behind by 7, he just abandon the run and just go pass happy?
I don't know.
Baltimore has always been built on running the football.
That's how they win
and
games.
Why did you get Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
He had good stats. They just stopped running him. Keep running him, which makes Lamar even more dangerous to run. And I think you can win that football game. They can't go 0-3.
No.
But I just have a feeling that's what's going to happen. I think Dallas is going to beat them, even though I want the Ravens to win. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm going to take the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a big game. I think they're going to run the ball. I think Dallas's run defense is questionable.
Yeah, it is.
I think Dallas is kind of a questionable team. I like the Ravens. I just don't think they're going to go 0-3.
Yeah,
I know.
It's
way too good. And when you look at their losses, they've been just absolutely like the Kansas City loss was basically coming an inch.
Yeah.
And again, the Raiders, I just caught them totally off guard. Raiders may be better than advertised. I don't know. But I think the Ravens know sense of urgency, knowing they can't go down 0-3.
Yeah, they can't.
And they're going to win this game against Dallas, even though at Dallas is still tough.
Yeah, no.
But the Saints proved, no, that's not hard to do. We put 44 up in Cowboys in their own building in their home opener.
Yeah, no. And that's the thing that this game puzzles me. I just think Dallas going to win, even though I want Baltimore.
Right.
I actually want Baltimore, and I think they should win Baltimore.
That's what I'm going with, the fact that Baltimore knows they can't go. I guess I look at this as Baltimore knows they can't go down 0-3.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm putting it on. And Dallas could go 1-2 and still, with that division, they could still pull that division out, because with the way the Eagles are playing, they could be 1-2.
They play like that again,
right,
on that defense. I don't worry about one little section of it.
No.
They haven't played a complete game like last year.
Right.
It was terrible all the way around.
They fell apart. But
it was just in that little instance, why do you play prevent? I don't know. And you've been playing well earlier.
Right.
And I don't get it. So
let's move on to the 49ers at the Rams. 49ers 1-1 at the Rams. A lot of injuries with the 49ers, a lot of injuries with the Rams. The Rams play very good, the 49ers play good down in LA. I think they've only lost since they've been down there. I think they've lost 2 games in LA and they've won every game. I think the number was like 7-2 against the Rams in LA. It's almost a home game for the 49ers because all their fans go down the coast and go to the game. 49ers, Rams. This is an interesting one because now the 49ers are getting 6.5 points on the road against the Rams. The Rams, though, are a mash unit.
You said the 49ers?
49ers get 6.5 points.
Okay, I thought the Rams was getting the points.
I'm sorry.
Is it?
You're right.
Is it? Okay.
I got it other way around.
Six
the
and a half?
Rams get 6.5. I saw minus 6.5. Right. Yeah. My brain freeze on my part. Rams get 6 and a hook at home. Home underdog. I can believe it. Rams are 0-2, got absolutely boat raced last week against the Cardinals 41-10. The Vikings, the 49ers got beat by the Vikings at Minnesota 23-17. So again,
I'm taking the 49ers.
49ers have a lot of injuries. Debo's out, McCaffrey's out, and there was another offensive player out. But let's go ahead and move on. I'll take the 49ers too. Lions are at the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are getting 3 points. Some of these point spreads, maybe it's me. It's always me.
The Lions is giving or getting?
The Lions are actually giving 3 points. Oh. Yes. The Cardinals are a home dog getting 3 points against the Lions in Arizona.
That's a good one.
This is another game on Fox. Has got 3 games, late games. Ravens, Cowboys, 49ers, Rams, Lions at Cardinals. These are the 4:25 games on Fox. You'll get, obviously, depending on where you live, you're going to get whatever game in your area. But the Lions are actually giving up 3 points on the road to the Cardinals. And both teams obviously 1-1. Again, Lions lost last week. Cardinals had the big game over the Rams last week, 41-10.
I don't know what to do on that. I kind of want to go Arizona.
Me too. I'll take Arizona.
Yep.
That's the music. Come back. We'll get to the colleges and hopefully Irish Mike will call us. Saturday Morning Sports Page back after a quick timeout.
Green light, let's get it. Green light, let's get it. Green light, let's get it.
The Mahoning Valley Federals is the area's minor league football team. After only 2 years in existence and an appearance in the league playoff semifinal game, the Federals are looking to add Valley High School and college talent to help take the next step toward a league championship. For more information on how to become part of the Federals' journey, go to Facebook at the Mahoning Valley Federals Developmental Football Team or contact General Manager John Galbraith at 330-540-1099. The Mahoning Valley Federals, honoring the football tradition in the Valley.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Discount Power Sports at 778 North Main Street in Hubbard is hosting a raffle for a 125cc Pintura ATV. Tickets are $30 each, and 100 tickets are available. For each raffle, when those 100 are gone, a winner will be drawn and a new raffle will begin. Tickets can be purchased at any Hubbard home game or at 778 North Main Street or by calling 330-717-44441. $1,500 from each raffle will go toward a scholarship for the Hubbard Youth Coalition.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship. So why do they play?
My reason why is friendship.
Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Saturday morning sports page coming right back at you, fourth quarter of the show. Let's go ahead and get to the balance of these NFL picks. Chiefs are at the Falcons. Sunday nighter. Oh, Collinsworth is getting a contract extension, by the way.
Who's that?
Collinsworth is getting his contract extended. Maybe to the chagrin of some people that aren't real pleased with Collinsworth. Let the game breathe. Let the game give us a break. I like Collinsworth, but sometimes he gets a little carried away. Anyway, Chiefs are at the Falcons +3. Falcons get 3 points. Another home dog. We have a lot of home dogs. This week.
I'm taking KC.
KC and the Sunshine Band.
Yep, I'm taking them.
Yeah, I got to go Chiefs. I can't go against Mahomes. Chiefs, Falcons coming off a lucky win on although Chiefs beat the Bengals 26-25 in a brutal game for the Bengals to lose. That fumble by Burrow really cost them bad.
That really
I think that was the game. You can't hand the Chiefs 6 points like that. Just here you go. And I know that call at the end, that interference, but it was a legitimate call, fourth, and I know people got upset, but he ran into the guy. I mean, the Bengals, what was it? The safety hit the wide receiver for Kansas City. That was a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt about it. I mean, even though he was going for the football, you still can't go through the player.
You can't get through the player.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I hate that, but it got to be. But they had to pull. He had to throw the flag on that play.
Let's go 2 games, and then we'll bring Irish Mike in. Jags at the Bills, -5. Bills lay -5 at home. Monday. It's a Monday nighter. It's the first Monday nighter, 7:20 on ESPN. I got to go with the Bills at home. I know it's a slam dunk, but I'll lay 5 points. The Jags are due, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just maybe they're due.
Peterson's job is on the line.
Yeah, I think Buffalo might still win it, but maybe
will they cover?
Will they cover that? They might win by 3. So I'm gonna take one of them. Yeah, I'm gonna try the Jags.
Okay, let's go. Commanders at the Bengals. 7.5.
Yeah,
7 in the hook.
Bengals. You get T. Higgins back. You got to get this offense revved up and going.
Yeah, I got to go Bengals too. Yeah. I'm going to go with the favorites and see. I got to recover from my 6-9-1, but all right, let's go. Let's get Irish Mike in here. You're on the sports page. What's up?
Morning, Pat. Morning, Dave. How you guys doing?
Hey, Irish Mike, what's up?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Hey, got home from the high school games last night and turned on the game on Fox between Illinois and Nebraska. The game went into overtime. I thought both games were really good. The Syracuse-Stanford game was really good.
Yeah.
By the way, I think we're all getting old here, guys. I forgot that the Stanford-Syracuse was an ACC game.
That's right.
Forgot about that.
That's right, because Stanford is now. That's right. They're an ACC team.
Yes.
They're in the conference. They're across the country. Although they're in California, they're in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah. But them and Kyle joined the ACC. I completely forgot about that because I'm going to actually go to the Stanford Notre Dame game in a couple weeks down in South Bend. And I'm like thinking, wow, they're coming across the country a couple times this year. And then I'm like, that's right, they're in the ACC. So
that's right.
It's just funny that we forget those things. Things are always changing in college sports. But in the Nebraska game, Illinois got the ball first. They scored in 2 plays, bang, bang, go up by 7 points. And at one time, guys, after 2 plays, they had Nebraska get the ball and they got a false start. So they went from 1st and 10 to 1st and 15. And then on 3rd down, they had 3rd and 42.
Wow.
That's crazy.
They took back-to-back. One sack, he lost 9 or 10 yards. Another one, he started scrambling and threw the ball away to nobody within 35 yards of the ball. And they had to get together to discuss, the intentional grounding when it was quite obvious to anybody with a pair of glasses that there's no one within 40 yards of the ball and you just threw the ball and throw it away. I mean, I thought that was, what do you got to huddle up for? It's an easy call. So they finally got that one right. And then the last play, they had 4th down and 22, and Illinois which I understand why more teams, Dave, don't do this more of. They just blitzed 6 guys, and they played man coverage and said, "We're coming." Both, you can't block all of us. And he took a sack to end the game.
Yeah, I know. You just can't. I know. I saw that Kyle McCord threw that interception last night for a pick 6 against Stanford, and that might have been the game.
I got text messages on that, Pat. You know what I mean? Because, they'll say that's the Kyle McCord we saw at Ohio State. He'll play really, really well, and you'll think, and then he makes bad decisions and bad plays that ultimately cost you a game, in crucial moments and crucial spots.
I know, and that's what he did last night. And it is, you just can't hand in a close game like that. You can't hand the opposing team 7 points.
Yeah.
No.
Just can't do it.
And I didn't like Syracuse. Maybe minute 50, minute 40 left to go in the game. Minute 30, it was maybe about a minute and a half tops. And Stanford called. Syracuse was down there a couple of timeouts, and Stanford's down the 1. And Stanford had a 4th and 9, and they went single coverage on one of the best receivers in the country, the backside, and he threw a back shoulder throw, and they gained 18, 19 yards in 1st down, which put them right in easy field goal territory.
Yeah.
I didn't understand playing man coverage on the backside.
No, not on that. No, it was like I said. What'd you think? The game that I also got into is Illinois and Nebraska. Both teams are obviously back as far as I think we're going to be quality opponents, and I think they're going to probably surprise a lot of other teams in the Big Ten. But that's that lower tier Big Ten teams improving now to getting into that upper tier, and they're both on the way of doing it.
And I just think, Pat, and I don't know if it's because this year, because we have the 12-team playoff compared to 4, but people are making all these conclusions one way or another about every team after, shouldn't we wait till the middle of October to kind of get a feel for all this? People make snap judgments after week 1, week 2, week 3, instead of saying, let's play 5, 6, 7 games and see where everybody's at after about 7 games by October 20th and get a better feel of who the better teams are and who the better teams are not. You know what I mean? Some teams have been tested more than others, correct? I mean, other teams, have played better than others. It's just, people are freaking out about Georgia winning by 1 point last week in Lexington against the Kentucky Wildcats. Now, the part of the game I saw, they didn't look very good, but it doesn't mean they're not going to come out this week and play really well. It's almost like we've had the NFL creep into major college football now.
Yeah, we do. We are. I think we have no patience as a society. I think we're very. I don't know how you want to call a microwave is that if it doesn't heat up fast enough, we complain. And we just don't have any patience to see if a team can develop into a good team or not. If they play bad one week, we're already throwing dirt on the proverbial team. Nah, they're terrible. They're horrible. Like the Jets played horrible against the 49ers on Monday night, and everybody was basically writing them off. And now obviously they've come back, 1-2 games, and now they're all, hey, we got the Super Bowl in front of us, which is ludicrous. But again, that's what happens is when a team is playing really bad, we want to bury them. And as soon as they turn around and have 2 good games, we want to crown them as the champs. And that's just the way it's. And I think that has infiltrated itself over into college. That thought process is now into college football.
Yes.
They were a little immune to it. The NFL, it's always been overreaction Monday because everybody just overreacts in the NFL. But I think,
especially after week 1.
yes, after week 1, and now you see that.
Yeah,
you see that into college is people are overreacting to the college ranks and the college teams. Hey, let's go ahead and let's get to the picks and these. This was an interesting week picking games because I didn't think there were going to be a lot of games. But then the more I looked at it, it's like, wow, there are some really close games and good games this week. Let's go ahead and get started. Florida at Mississippi State, and Mississippi State gets 6 points. And the only question is who's going to be the Florida new head coach because everybody's got Napier out of a job. That head coach he's buried. He's already, they have him fired. Listen to all these sports talk. He's gone.
Yeah, he probably is.
He's not.
And I think you discussed this, Pat, earlier this season. He could have been done after last year. He was on the hot seat at the end of last year. But I think somebody in the athletic department looked at the schedule this year and said, do we really want a first-year head coach at Florida to go through this schedule in 2024? So let's really have one more year to get us through this very difficult and challenging time in our program.
And then we could fire him.
Yeah.
Let him go through the schedule. Then we can can him.
Brutal.
Yep.
Anyway, Mississippi State gets 6 points at home. They lost to Toledo last week, 41-17.
Mississippi State.
I'm going to go with Florida. I think Mississippi State's since Mike Leach left, that's a tough system to take over. God rest his soul. That you're trying to rebuild a program and change the philosophy of what you want to do offensively and defensively when you've been running the run and shoot or the spread. You know what I mean? The way he runs it. So I'm going to go with Florida Gators to bounce back, and I'll take Florida.
How about you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm taking Florida too.
Yeah, I have to go with Florida. I mean, they can't be that bad.
No.
Because they can't. Yeah. Let's move on to Houston at Cincinnati. Interesting game. It's actually Houston is getting. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Houston gets 3.5. 3 and a hook.
Where's the game at?
Cincinnati, and Houston gets 3 and a hook on the road at Cincinnati.
Oh.
I'll take Houston. I mean, I think Pitt beat Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, and they blew a big lead. I think there's a reason why Luke Fickell left, too, a couple of years back. So I'll take Houston and the points.
Dave Clark?
It's tough. I'll just go ahead and take Cincinnati at home.
Yeah, this is one that I'll go agree with Dave. I'll take Cincy at home. Let's go. This is the big one. USC at Michigan. This was floating all over the board. They have it now. Michigan is getting 4 and a hook at home. No, now it's even 4.
Even 4?
Even 4. So Michigan gets 4 points at home against USC.
This is going to be different for USC to come east, come in the big house. But going off of what I've seen, I'm going USC.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. I'll go USC. Yeah. I know Michigan switched quarterbacks this week, right?
Right. Yeah.
Michigan the last quarterback, that fifth-year senior, so they switched.
It makes me wonder if they're going to run the ball.
Michigan lost so many players.
Yeah.
Last year, 18 guys got 13 guys got drafted.
Oh, yeah.
Going through a transition phase right now, so I'll go with the USC Trojans on the road.
Yeah, USC's coming off a bye. The last time they played, they shut out Utah State 48-0. They beat LSU and Utah State. I like USC. I just think they're a step up.
Yep.
And they're going to play. They're going to be good. I think it's going to be a good team. Yeah. He's got a good defense. The defense, he got rid of all the assistants, brought in new people.
Yeah, I like this. The defense look completely different. Same guys playing.
Bigger guys, stronger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just got a whole different look for this. And again, they brought in a new coaching staff for the defense. Seems to have really made a big change. So that's on 3:30 today on CBS. Let's go to Kansas at West Virginia. And this is West Virginia is actually laying 2 points. So Kansas gets 2 points on the road. This is at noon today on ESPN2 if you're interested watching it.
Yep.
And
that's a good one. There's some athletes there, boy. In that game.
Yeah, 2 points. That's almost an even switch.
Yeah.
West Virginia got a loss last week at Pitt. I thought they were going to beat Pitt.
Me too.
Pitt came back. Watch that. Good game. Pitt came back and pulled it out.
I'm going to take West Virginia at home this time.
I'm going to go with Kansas.
On the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the home team. I'll take West Virginia home. Arkansas at Auburn. And Auburn is basically laying 2 and a hook. So Arkansas gets 2 and a hook at Auburn. They won. Arkansas beat UAB last week 37-27, and then Auburn beat New Mexico. Yeah, they beat New Mexico 45-19. I don't know what you draw from any of that.
And how many points is Arkansas getting?
2 and a hook.
I like their quarterback. They got some good pieces.
At Auburn.
It's at Auburn, though.
It's at Auburn.
I'm going to go with Arkansas.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, that's a good analogy. I like that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's some good games that I've seen this.
Yeah, I like Arkansas, too. Let's go to Utah at OK State.
Yes, this is
4:00 game, big game here. 2.5. Utah gets 2 and a hook at home on the road.
This is a league game now, right? This is
yes,
a 12 game, correct?
These are big. This is a Big 12 game. You gotta. Yeah, this is hard to keep that in your mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Now,
yeah, very hard.
Is what you call it back to this week. The quarterback.
They actually moved the spread down. Gosh, this went down from 2 and a hook to all. Utah gets. Actually, now it's OK State is getting a point.
Wow.
OK State gets 1 point on this.
Doesn't Utah have that quarterback Camerson?
Cam.
7th-year senior?
Yeah. He was. They had him out the last game they played. Just wanted to see if he was back. But if he's playing, I got to go with Utah.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma State and the home team. Because you don't know what Cam wrestling. There's medical issues there that hurt his career the whole time. That's why he's a 7th-year senior.
I'll take OK State at home. Let's go to Tennessee at Oklahoma.
I like this too.
This is a big game, premier game. Let me check this point spread because I do these point spreads on Friday and here's Saturday, and these things like the stock market. These are they bounce around. I can't sometimes keep track of it. Now this is at 6 and a hook. Oklahoma gets 6 and a hook at home. Home dog. Tennessee lays 6 and a hook on the road to Oklahoma.
I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm banking on their defensive line. Both defenses are good, but Oklahoma's offensive line is suspect. And I think Tennessee.
I'll take
I'm with
Tennessee.
Dave. I'm going to go with Tennessee as well.
Yeah, me too. Go cross sport. Let's go to the Iowa-Minnesota game. That's on 8 NBC tonight at 7:30. And Minnesota, the home dog, another home dog getting 2 and a hook against Iowa.
It's hard to pick against Iowa now since they know how to score points sometimes.
Yeah.
They always play defense. Now they score
their
points.
defense is good.
Hey, that McNamara kid, the kid from Michigan that transferred. Remember last year he got hurt the second game of the year, missed the rest of the year. Now he's back as a quarterback for Iowa.
Yeah.
Right. Actually moved the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try Iowa.
I'm going to go Iowa as well.
Yeah, I'll take Iowa. The last game is tonight's game, and I put this on because I know it's at 10:30 at night, and I know Dave Clark will watch this game at 10:30 tonight.
So.
Kansas State at BYU, and BYU is getting 7. Now it's down. I'll just leave it at 7. It was at 6. Now it's 6.5. I'm going to leave 7 out there. BYU gets 7 points
at home
against the Kansas State Wildcats. They came off with a big win on Arizona, 31-7. BYU is 3-0. They beat Wyoming 34-14. So I don't know what you draw from any of those.
I know they can score, and they are at home.
Right.
K-State has always have a good team, but 7 points is a. I think Kansas State going to win, but maybe they can keep it within 7. So I'll try BYU.
Who do you think?
BYU home 2 in the point.
You want
another conference game, I believe, because I think BYU's in that league now.
Yeah, what league is that? Big 12?
That would be Big 12.
Yeah, I think they are.
So are they in the Big? I can't keep. Is BYU Big 12 now? They used to be independent all those years.
I don't know.
I got to look this up.
I don't know where.
If there's a test on any of this, I would fail.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm definitely.
I would fail miserably.
It's a you could put that big F up right now because I don't know. I don't know where anybody is at.
Yeah, they're playing this in BYU. As much as I like, I'll take Kansas State and lay the points. It's probably a mistake, but
you made me have to. I got to look this up because
now we don't
BYU. What conference?
Right.
I don't know.
I can't keep. I have literally now. I have to go back and check because I've lost track. You keep California and Stanford or ACC schools now.
Yeah,
and I again, you got to think that through and go, oh yeah, that's right.
The Big 12
and the Big 12, and then the Big 10 is now 18 teams,
right?
Because they added the 4 teams from the Pac-12. They had 14, now they have 18. Now they show that commercial. They show you. They always love that commercial where they show where the Big 10 teams are.
Yeah.
Now they start out West Coast, Pacific Ocean is there, and you see USC, UCLA go Oregon, Washington down, and then over.
Yeah.
They go all the way across the country. Then you got Rutgers, and you see the New York City skyline in Rutgers there at the end.
It's insane.
And you got the LA skyline in the beginning.
You know what? I'm just for you bringing that up. I'm going home and look at this. I don't even know the conference now. It's got me interested. I don't know who's in the ACC except the ones that used to be in there. So I got to look that up. BYU is Big 12. And what they always was, they were not Mountain. What was they used? Well,
Mountain West.
Mountain West.
Were they independent?
Yeah, and then one year, long time ago, they used to be in the WAC. Remember that?
Right, they were a WAC.
Yeah, I don't know where anybody's at.
Yeah, they are. BYU Cougars are now a Big 12 team.
I just looked that up. Wow. So this is a conference game?
So you got you got Arizona State in the Big 12, BYU, Baylor, we know that. Cincinnati's Big 12. Houston's a Big 12. And then Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma, the TCU, Texas Tech. The Central Florida is now in the Big 12.
Are they?
Yes.
So it's really more than 12 in there too, right?
Yeah. And it's UCF Knights. That's basically Central Florida.
Yeah, Central Florida.
And the Utah Utes and West Virginia is Big 12, which I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many schools is that?
It's just unbelievable.
I think I got it. I don't. Is there 20 teams in there?
I wonder if they're going to rename these conferences. Can't call it the Big 12.
It's 16.
Yeah, they're all just.
They got 16 in the Big 12, and they've got 18 in the Big 10. And then you got the SEC now.
Yeah. See, it's better just to call the SEC. You don't have any number on it, so you can go to whatever number you want.
Well, Pat, you're talking about one of the Big Ten members, the UCLA Bruins. They play LSU down in Baton Rouge today.
Yes.
Last was 9-10 months ago. Remember Bill O'Brien was the offensive coordinator of Ohio State for like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. And then he left that job to go to become head coach at Boston College.
Right.
And Chip Kelly left his head coaching job at UCLA to come to Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator. Watch UCLA play today, and you'll see exactly why Chip Kelly left.
Oh, yeah. They got absolutely boat raced by Indiana last Saturday night. UCLA got crushed by. We got that wrong.
And I get, Pat, that he wanted to leave UCLA and they wanted him out. Neither one of them wanted that relationship anymore from either end. So it kind of worked out for him to land on his feet in Columbus as an OC.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because UCLA now is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
They got absolutely destroyed by Indiana last week. I mean, look, Indiana's, they're not.
Yeah.
We know what Indiana. They're an average Big Ten team. They blew out UCLA badly. They treated them
out in the Rose Bowl.
Indiana went out there and crushed UCLA.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that and I
they
thought,
don't look good. I mean, you could look at a team and say they're going to struggle all year long. It's just not a 1 or 2 week thing. So.
Yeah.
They lost 42-13.
And that's not a usual play of them. They usually have some type of something for you, but they don't look good. No.
Sean Foster is their head coach.
Yeah.
He's in for a long year.
Yeah.
And if you gentlemen remember this correctly, after the 2012 season, when Chip Kelly left Oregon Ducks to go to the NFL to be the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, I think he was there 3 years, and then he got fired. He went to the 49ers for a year and got fired there. When he left Oregon, that was the biggest criticism of him. That Chip Kelly's a good football coach, but he does not like to recruit. That's not his thing. That's why they thought NFL would be so much better for him, because he did not like to go on the recruiting trail. And look at the UCLA roster, and it's well proven.
Yeah.
So what you're basically saying is the cupboards are bare.
Yeah, he doesn't do well. That's why they said Foster got hired, is because he has a thing of being able to recruit. He's going to have tough time his first couple of years. I'm sure.
He's just in for a long season, and he's walked into a team.
Yeah, he got to get his fingerprints on this program.
He's got to recruit, and he's starting over. Hopefully, they will give him the chance to do it, which I believe they will.
They should,
because
he's a UCLA legend. They got to get a guy.
You got to give him a few years.
Yeah.
I know that's not what they do. Thank you, Irish Mike, for calling in.
Dave, have a great weekend. Thanks for taking my call. Thank you.
Alrighty,
man. That's the music, Dave Clark.
Yep.
We got our picks in. Let's see what happens this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do better.
Yeah, me too.
Everybody stay safe. Do not drink and do not drive. Get a designated driver. Stay safe out there. Buckle up. Saturday Morning Sports page on Western Reserve Radio. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark.
You're listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
Sports Betting Network.
You're watching VSiN's College Football Tailgate Show right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, where you get your winners.
Hour 2 of the VSiN College Football Tailgate Show. I am your host, Tim Murray. No better way to get you ready for a full college football slate. Will the dogs be barking like they were last night? 3-0 ATS, 2-1 straight up for dogs. Stanford, outright winner. Illinois, outright winner. San Jose State almost got there if it weren't for a Washington State 52-yard field goal at the end of regulation. Ultimately, Washington State won that game in double overtime. Matt Human's a man who loves dogs. I know he likes underdogs. As for real dogs, who knows? Status out on that. But Humans will join us in less than 15 minutes. Also, the latest from behind the counter. Who will the books need? Chuck Esposito, race and sportsbook director at the Red Rock Casino, part of the Stations Group here in Las Vegas. Who will they need today? Take a look at the market before we jump into some of those noon games. I'm going to point this game out here. Virginia, Coastal Carolina, 2 o'clock Eastern kickoff. The reason I point that out, Steve Fezzik, who is currently in first place of the VSiN Friday Night Football Invitational, one of his best bets, under 54 in this game. Chuck Edel, his best bet last night on the Circa Friday Football Invitational was under 54 on this game as well. And when you've got a couple of sharp guys like that betting the under and giving it out on VSiN, the number has moved down to 52, 52.5. But worth noting, and we will run through a lot of the plays from last night's Circa Friday Football Invitational coming up in the next hour. My best bets, Matt Human's best bets coming up in 15 minutes. But I wanted to play this for you because Ohio State is hosting Marshall today. And Marshall, remember, 2 years ago, as around a 3-touchdown underdog, went into South Bend and beat Notre Dame. So Marshall's got a propensity of pulling a big-time upset, but we know that the players on their roster can't really stack up to the players on Ohio State's roster. Charles Huff, their head coach, is aware of that, and he's got a pitch to try to bring those Ohio State Buckeye faithful to Huntington, West Virginia.
Would love to have some of those guys from Ohio State too. So if they want to transfer on down, we've got a Tudor's Biscuit NIL, all you can eat. So if any of those guys that run really, really fast at Ohio State like Tudor's Biscuits, I promise you, all you can eat all day if you transfer here. So, but yeah.
Tudor's Biscuits. Man, that sounds good. I've never been to a Tudor's Biscuits, but if anyone's been out there, let me know how the Tudor's Biscuits are at one Tim Murray. But that is a game right now that no interest for me as Ohio State sits as a 39-point favorite. We have seen some interest in the betting market on Clemson and NC State. This is a game that I think some people might have been surprised when they saw the point spread here. Grayson McCall is not going to play in this game. It's going to be the freshman CJ Bailey, who stepped in last week for the Wolfpack. And we've actually seen the market come down a little bit here on Clemson in this spot. So this number is down to 17. Earlier this week, it was as high as 21 at Circa. So a 4-point move down here. And my hunch is we don't anticipate that big of a drop-off, right, from Grayson McCall down to CJ Bailey, who, speaking of Ohio State, CJ Bailey was Jeremiah Smith's high school quarterback. So he's thrown to some pretty good wide receivers, and I would imagine that Clemson might be licking their chops to get their hands on a green quarterback like CJ Bailey, but Tony Elliott hasn't forgotten how to coordinate defense. So no play for me on this particular game. Feels like a little bit of an inflated line, but I do have a play on this game in essence, because I look at Clemson's schedule and how the ACC has unfolded here. Clemson has not played a conference game yet. I'm going to play Clemson to make the ACC championship, which is a market available at DraftKings at even money. They don't play Miami this year. They do play Stanford next week, who pulled the upset last night at Syracuse. They play Florida State in 2 weeks, but let's be honest, Florida State is 0-3 and a 2.5-point favorite today against Cal, so we don't really know what to anticipate there. They get Louisville at home and off a bye. They go to Virginia Tech, so we'll find out here in the next 8 weeks or so, right? Because they bookended their schedule with non-conference games, so they'll have a plethora of conference foes here, and no Miami on that schedule. I do think the ACC has a chance of some cannibalization here moving forward. So that would be my play on this one. No pre-flop play, but I do like Clemson to reach the ACC championship, a market available at DraftKings. So last night, I mentioned a couple of times, we had a thriller on the Palouse as Washington State edged out San Jose State 54-52. Why do I bring that game up? Because I looked at it as a massive letdown spot for Washington State. Washington State last week, goal line stand against Washington, got the victory against their arch rival, Menaton. And ultimately, maybe they were overinflated in the market, a little bit fat and happy off of a win over an arch rival. Regardless, they do not get the cover in a letdown spot. So let's run through possible letdown spots today. Indiana. Now, Kirk Cignetti, this man is covering numbers easily so far this year. 3-0 ATS are the Hoosiers. Last week, they went out to the Rose Bowl, won 42-13 against UCLA. You've got Biff Poggi and the Charlotte 49ers there. It's been a disastrous start of the year. I point these out. I don't play all of these. And this is one I'm not going to play. I don't know with Kirk Cignetti if he's going to be mad about something. I mean, this is a team that opened up the year with a 77-3 win over Western Illinois. Or I think that was week 2. So they have gone out and dominated foes. No thanks, but just keeping an angle there. That number has tipped down to 28 at circa, 28.5 still out there. You know, letdown spots aren't always exclusively off wins. Think about last week for Kentucky. The last 2 weeks for Kentucky. Let's just run through that. Home game against South Carolina. They lose 31-6. Offense looks inept. They lose College game day because of that loss to South Carolina. They then are a 22-point underdog to Georgia. Chuck Esposito last week when he joined the show said that Georgia was the most public side of the week for them at the Stations Casino here in town. They lost by 1. Had every chance to win that game. Really was a clunker for Georgia. And now if you're Kentucky, you got to turn around and you got to play Ohio. The Bobcats coming into town today. 12:45 Eastern, I think 11:45 local. I'm not sure what time zone Lexington, Kentucky's in. I think they're in the Eastern time zone. 19.5-point favorite are the Wildcats of the Big Blue Nation. Just pointing it out. The next one I do like, but I don't love the number of where we're at right now. Memphis at Navy. Memphis, this was one of my first bets of the week. I had 2 bets right out of the gate, and they were Navy themed. It was backing Coach Ken in San Jose State, and then it was backing Navy. I talked about this on the VSiN College Football Betting Podcast in May. This spot right here, Memphis off of a game at Florida State. Now, I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much because